will say, allow us to continue the transmission in the following way. This holotrope experience was the first step in the idea of forming a stronger conscious connection to your Oversoul. The Oversoul is that level of your being, of your consciousness, non-physical in nature, that is a collection of a multitude of individual souls and spirits that express themselves as individual physical beings. Not that they have to, but we are simply talking right now and referring right now to the idea of your earth incarnation experiences. As we said earlier in this transmission, the analogy is similar to the idea of the hand being the Oversoul that has many extensions, being the fingers, that you call lives, that dip down from the Oversoul non-physical level through the template level reality, crystallizing into the idea of individuated souls and spirit personalities, and thus then further down, densifying, crystallizing into physical personalities, into individual people, and having experiences in the idea you call physical reality. But all the physical reality lives go back to the idea of the Oversoul. And there are, in that sense, thus then connections between many of you to the same Oversoul vibration. Even though an Oversoul may experience a multitude of diversified individual experiences as physical beings, as physical people, the idea is that all of them will still be able to key back in their signature vibration, a piece of their signature vibration, an aspect of their signature vibration will always be similar to the signature vibration aspect in all the other people, all the other beings that are also part of that Oversoul. That Oversoul may choose overall large, multi-generational spanning themes of exploration. An Oversoul can not only experience the idea of all the lives simultaneously, but can also not only create what you call past, present, and future lives, but also can split itself into multiple concurrent lives. In other words, many of you already understand the concept you call past lives and future lives, but linearly speaking, you consider the idea of each of those lives to have lived and died before the next one begins and ends. But the Oversoul can also split itself into multiple concurrent lives living simultaneously with you. Many of you may meet some of your concurrent incarnations from the same Oversoul. Some of you may never meet in the life. It depends upon the theme. It depends upon the reason why such concurrent incarnations were created. Some of you may meet your concurrent incarnations and be friends. Some of you may be enemies. It doesn't necessarily mean one thing or another just because it comes from the same Oversoul that you do. It depends on the theme of exploration that the Oversoul is looking for. The experience the Oversoul has created for itself to have through its extensions, through all of you. You have upon your planet at this time approximately 6 billion people as you count in your language. But of all those 6 billion people, they are the extensions of only about 300,000 Oversouls. So the idea is that you are all very intimately intertwined in a variety of ways. Not only, shall we say, laterally, through all the web connections represented by the idea of one single plane, represented by the geometric pattern of the holotope, but also through the Oversouls, multidimensionally, on many different levels. You are intertwined as well. And of course, being that the idea of different dimensions simply is another way of saying different vibrational frequencies, different levels, there are, of course, Oversouls for Oversouls, and Oversouls of Oversouls of Oversouls, all the way back to what you call all that is, and of course, all the way back to the One. Now, the One is the undifferentiated Oversoul of all. The One does not know itself. There is no differentiation, no reflection, no self-awareness in the One. The One is just the One. It is just existence itself. But within the One, since it is the One and must by definition contain any possibility whatsoever. Thus then, one aspect of the one is that which is that moment of self-awareness by which the one thus then in that reflection becomes self-aware and knows itself as all that is. So the one is the primary oversoul that is undifferentiated and knows not itself, and all that is the oversoul of all oversouls and knows and perceives that it is the oversoul of all oversouls. You may call it God, you may call it goddess, you may call it creator, you may call it the infinite, you may call it anything you wish, it doesn't care. Because all names are created within all that is, so all names are of and from all that is, and all names are of it. No name is outside of it. But for the purposes of this transmission, we are referring to it simply as the Prime Oversoul. All that is, the Prime Oversoul. Then there is differentiations down from there, as again, each reflection splits off into more and more self-aware reflections. The first level, shall we say, and all of this is very euphemistic in your language, just a convenience of terminology, not to be taken necessarily too absolutely literally in the way you tend to think of things on your planet physiologically, in terms of a hierarchical nature. For from that level, it is not really seen as hierarchical. Even though it is understood that there are levels that are much broader in their expansive ability to perceive, seeing much farther, it is still not looked at as hierarchical in the sense that there is more value to that than any other level. For again, as we have said, every part contains the whole. And so the part is just a unique expression of the whole. In a sense, you could say that each part, each and every one of you and every one of us, is the whole, placing specific limitations upon itself to only express one aspect of itself, to have a unique adventure, a unique experience. But all the whole is there. And it is through the rest of that wholeness that each and every one of you contain that you are connected to everything and everyone, everywhere and everywhen. Even though you may not always know it, but are gaining more awareness of it, bit by bit and bit by bit every day in this age of transformation on your planet, know that you are and do contain all the information you need, for you are connected to everything and can access anything that is pertinent and relevant to your particular expression as a unique aspect of all that is. But as all that is diversifies itself, shall we say, and splits itself off through further and further self-aware recognitions, it becomes different layers, different levels. The first of which you technically refer to in your language as the angels. That is the first level of awareness below all that is, where it is aware of itself as discrete, individuated beings besides itself, that do not incarnate in the way that you do. But below that, it diversifies into a multitude of dimensional beings, experiencing all the different levels of diversification and crystallization down into the denser and denser dimensions of experiential reality of consciousness, even deeper than what you experience as a densification of physical reality. There are a multitude of dimensions even denser and deeper than your own. You probably can't imagine them. Nor would you probably want to. Nevertheless, they are equally valid experiences in their own right of consciousness expressing itself in a variety of ways that are in many ways so alien to what you understand, you would have no comprehension or ability to imagine what their experiences are like. Nevertheless, where you are, on the level of physical reality experience that you have chosen to present yourself to be, there are obviously a variety of ways to express your connection to the higher mind and the oversoul through your individuated spirit selves. Very artistic, very creative, very loving, very expressive beings, free to fluidly flow in a variety of expressive ways on your planet. The very nature, the very notion even of living on a planet is alien to many, many beings on different levels and different dimensions of reality. They look upon you also as you do to them, as an alien life form. How can something live on the surface of a ball, floating in an isolated sector of space? It is an alien concept for many beings. So understand that to many, many beings within creation, you are highly exotic. But that is your Oversoul expression. It is what the Oversoul and all the other Oversouls that you are connected to has chosen to experience for itself. It is simply what you are. It is simply that you are that level. Not only that, of course, but many other levels as well. But the focus that you are here is that level. That's why you are focused where you are. It's why we are focused where we are. We are simply the expression of our level, as you are the expression of your level, of your frequency, of your domain. So the idea is to simply know that this is natural. It is one of the valid ways that all that is has of expressing itself. It is one of the ways that the Oversoul differentiates and reflects and diversifies and crystallizes itself to have certain kinds of experiences. You can look at each and every one of your lives as the Oversoul deciding to go deep sea diving. It places upon itself the idea that it requires certain equipment to experience physical reality in the same way that you require certain equipment to breathe underwater, under the ocean. Being freer in the air, like the Oversoul is free in non-physical reality, it imposes upon itself the mask, the breather, the tank, and goes diving. Deep, deep down into the sea, the deep blue sea of physical reality. There is always a connection to the surface, but the idea to understand is that when you are in the deep blue sea, the deeper you go, it is a little difficult to see that much farther in front of you. But being on the surface and above the surface, the higher mind and the Oversoul together can work to lay out the course to say, we can see to the horizon and beyond. We will guide you. We will guide you if you will simply follow that light, follow that frequency, follow that sound, follow that knowledge, follow that vibration of being yourself, of your joy, your excitement. Then you will not go astray, and whatever you encounter down there in the deep blue sea, you'll be able to learn from it, to absorb it, to apply it into your life in a positive and constructive and creative way. And one day when you thus then rise back to the surface, take off your mask, take off the breather, take off your tanks, and free yourself once again and wake up into spirit, you will have a better understanding and a clearer connection to the idea of the higher mind and the Oversoul that has always been there guiding you like a beacon. But you can also have a stronger sense of that connection now in physical reality. Because this is the age of transformation on your planet, on your little ball floating through space. This is what you are now creating for yourself. This is the time that the Oversoul knew it would experience in your reality of awakening to what it is, to what its parts are, to the parts awakening to the greater sum that they compose. This is an exciting time upon your planet to experience more of yourself. And as you do, to awaken to the different strata within your consciousness that takes you all the way to the vibration of the Oversoul and to the connection of all other Oversouls to whatever degree, in whatever way you so desire, to whatever way you wish to apply this connection in your life. You are one family. A family of Oversouls. You are all the children of all the Oversouls in that sense. You are one family. And we are, in a sense, your cousins. And we, in that sense, are having with you a wonderful family reunion. And as you discover more and more and more of yourself, you will also have your own family reunions of consciousness, so that you can, every day in every way, act as the greater you, forming that partnership, that relationship between physical mind and higher mind so that you can function as a whole person and allow yourself to reap the fruits and the benefits of moving through life in that way, through your actions, through your applications, through your awareness, through your love, through your creativity, through your willingness to be more of who you are, and your willingness to give that vibration to the world with every heartbeat, so that you put out into the world that frequency, so that you are all immersed in that sea. And in that sea of interconnected heart energy, that vibrational bubble that races out from each and every one of your hearts at the speed of light and engulfs your entire planet at the speed of light and immerses you all in that energy at the speed of light. Thus then do all those bubbles coalesce and overlap, and the Oversouls vibrate with that beautiful overall vibrational frequency and send that back to you and amplify it. And you send it out again and they send it back and amplify it. And you send it out again and back and forth, building and building and building and building until you express more and more and more of your true being in life. So that the Oversoul receives the totality of the experience and savors the totality of the experience of the unique expression of the Oversoul that each and every one of you are. Take a deep breath and let it out. Take a deep breath and let it out. Take a deep breath and let it out into the world. And know that you are sculpting the atmosphere of your reality with every breath to be sweeter, to be more supportive, to be lighter, to be freer, to be energized, so that again you move through life as life moves through you, in one balance point, effortlessly, easily, beautifully.